Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. I want to say thank you guys so much for being here and for being a little bit patient this morning. I was trying to figure out some technical stuff on the backside, but got it figured out. And yeah, we are here. So good morning. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Donna. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Anita. Wonderful to see all of you guys here. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, we're going to let's see here. So I'd asked Pepper to make me up some more cards for the week, and she asked me what kind of a theme that I was looking for, and I told her that I was looking for a theme of new growth, and in particular a theme of growth through adversity. Because let's face it, in these winter months, things still grow in winter, but it definitely requires a bit more or a bit of some specialization to do so. So she basically took my ideas and she made up another set of cards. So I'm very excited to see what it is that she's done. She's been under the weather, so she's actually sleeping right now. But nevertheless, she was up late last night making these things. I do appreciate her for doing that. So let's have some fun. Let's pull a card off the top of the deck and see what Pepper has made for me. As we say that today, I am patient. I am patient. I act when the time is right. So I am patient. I act when the time is right. Are you patient? You are patient. You act when the time is right. I'm going to write that down in the comments. And I encourage you to do the same exact thing. I am patient. I act when the time is right. I feel like so much of life really is timing. So much of life is just recognizing that it's like when so when I lived on Maui, and heck, I mean even when I lived in Costa Rica and I went swimming in the ocean, there are ocean currents and they take you different directions. And if you're the surfers know this, that when you want to get way out to where the big waves are, which is usually like a mile or two offshore, you don't want to swim a mile or two offshore. You'd be exhausted by the time you get out there, and then you're a mile or two offshore. And so what the surfers will do is they'll find a rip current, those currents that they warn you to stay out of when you're swimming, but they'll swim around until they find one of those. And then once they find one, they'll hop on their surfboard and they'll allow the current to take them out. And so they still need to paddle a little bit to get where they're going and to steer and to keep themselves in that current or in that riptide. But in the end they're getting where they're going. In the same way that there's currents that go toward the beach and away from the beach, there are also currents that move side to side. And these currents can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, because you can swim out into the ocean and then the current pulls you side to side and you realize all of a sudden you're 3 miles down the 3 miles down the beach from where you used to be, and you got to figure out how to get back. But when I lived on Maui, I used to swim between there were these two beaches that were maybe about 5 miles apart from each other, and I used to swim between them. I would put out on the one beach, and I would go out maybe a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile thereabouts. Once again, I would find a rip current to take me out there, and then I would swim until I found the current that was going in the direction of the beach that I wanted to go to, and then I would swim with that current toward that other beach, and it was really nice. It was like kind of like I was on a moving sidewalk, but in the ocean. And so I would have my snorkel mask on, and the water was usually between about 20 and maybe 50 feet deep, and I lots and lots of wildlife out there. Nobody was out there, so that's where the wildlife all was, and it was just a wonderful like snorkeling thing. And then I'd find a current taking me back into the beach. I'd go back into I'd pop in at the other beach, and relax on the beach for a little bit. And then when it was time to go back, I'd find a rip current, take me about another basically to go the other direction. I'd have to go out maybe like a mile or so, but I'd go out about a mile and then I'd go the other direction, and then I'd pop back, I'd swim back and hit the current coming back into the beach. And it was a lot of fun, and it was probably about a 10-mile swim overall. But I wasn't actually swimming for 10 miles. I was primarily just following the ocean currents. I mean, I knew enough about the ocean so to know what direction that the ocean was going to take me. And I feel like there's so much of that in life that there are some times when things are just working, and when what we're doing is just working, when we can do no wrong. And when that happens, it's really important for us to, really go with that flow. When the flow is going in the direction of our dreams, go with the flow. There are other times when nothing is working, when it feels like everything is just, friction, where no matter what we're trying is failing, or whatever. Whenever we're attempting to make progress, that it's just not doing anything. And in those moments, I feel like it's just so important for us to rest, to recognize that everything is not going our way. And instead of fighting with it, instead of being like, I'm going to take all of my effort and my energy to make this happen, instead of doing that, just resting and using our energy to maintain our position and just not to get pushed backwards. I found that when I was swimming and when I was doing reasonably long distance swimming, that had a very visceral impact on my body. But that was really kind of when I started to think about that. At the time, I was living on Maui, and there was just stuff was not working. I had made a career jump, and the career choice that I had made, it really wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and I wasn't really being supported in it the way that I thought I was going to be supported in it, and ultimately, I realized that I realized that that if I was going to continue fighting it, then I was never really going to get where I was going. And so instead, I just maintained, which is like, okay, well, this is working well enough, but let's make it work well enough until I can find something better. And that's what I did. I just started putting out my feelers for something better. And at the same time was, like I didn't go ballistic on my boss. I didn't treat other people disrespectfully. I didn't rage quit. I just maintained. I maintained while I was there, and lo and behold, about a month and a half later, here comes a better opportunity that ended up being in the adventure tourism business. That I made quite a career of that for many years. And I probably would still be doing it today if we hadn't had a worldwide pandemic that had shut down tourism completely. I probably never ever would have stopped doing that. It was so cool. And so I realized then that my patience, that acting when the time was right, allowed me to ultimately find something better. Because had I taken any of the opportunities that had first presented themselves, they would have worked okay, but they wouldn't have been a perfect fit. In the end, I waited for a little bit and I found a perfect fit, and that perfect fit allowed me to really springboard my career, my life, helped me to learn more about myself, and ultimately grew me in the direction that I was interested in growing. And so I am patient, and you are as well. And so we act when the time is right. And I would love to know about a time in your life where you had to exercise some patience, and that patience paid off. Because I think we've all been there. We've all, Susan says that she's not patient or not very patient. Well, I understand that, Susan. I want things to happen right now too. Don't we all? Don't we all want things to happen right now? And don't we all believe on some level that we're not where we're supposed to be, or that we should be further along than however far along that we are? I think that's part of human nature. But in the end, in the end, we're right where we're supposed to be in this very moment, and that the place that we're at right now is, it's the product of all the choices that we've made in the past. It's like, when we when we look when we look around ourselves, we take a look at the life that we've built, the life that we're building, the situation that we find ourselves in. It's the whole thing is the whole thing is a product of the choices that we've made in the past, and those choices that we made in the past were made from us in the past, and now we're new people. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's so difficult to be patient, because the version of me that is making choices right now, and the version of me that finds myself in the life situation that I'm in right now, that life situation was not decided by this version of me. That life decision was decided by a previous version of me, a less mature version, a less self-confident version, a less experienced version has chosen my current life situation. and it always has that been that way, and it always will be that way. And so, therefore, I think it's very important for us to just continue to be on the lookout for opportunities, and to make sure that we are always acting when the time is right. If we act before the time is right, then we risk wasting our energy, so that when the time is right, we don't have the ability, to really assist nature. And if we wait until the time has passed us by, then oftentimes, well, time passes us by, and then there's not much that we can do about it. We find that we're still in the same place, and then we have to wait for another opportunity. So I am patient, and you are patient as well. We act when the time is right, and as we do, it allows us to use minimal effort to get a maximum return. All right, so let's see what you guys have to say today. So once again, good morning, Diana, Donna, and Susan. And I'm glad that you're back from Susan. I'm glad you're back from North Carolina, Susan. Not functioning quite yet. That's okay. I'm the only one who has to be super functional on the wake up call. Let's see here. Donna. Oh, good morning, Donna. Nice to see that you're still around. Good morning from the HOA. Lauren's coming in from Daytona Beach. Dan's coming in from Buford. Let's see here. Good morning, Anita. You must be close by because it's raining over here too. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Good morning to let's see. Looks like good morning, Armando. Wonderful to see you here today. Armando says I'm observing patiently and act accordingly, and that's a wonderful thing. Let's see. I love you, my friends. Wishing you MP inspiration, blessing upon you, your family, every one of your friends, and blessings upon you too, Armando, and blessings upon everybody who hears these words. And we continue to call health and well-being into our reality. We continue to we continue to pray for each other, and we continue to love the people who are around us. Let's see. Good morning to let's see. All right. Anita, Dan says corporate world required extreme patience every single day. Yeah, you ain't lying, Dan. That's every time I've been involved in a big organization, it has always required tremendous amounts of patience. I have no idea how some of the folks who are in a corporate organization get to be in the positions that they are. It astounds me. But every single day it astounds me. But I am very, very fortunate that I'm able to work on my own projects, and that I get to have minimal contact with that. Let's see here. So good morning. Good morning, Shauna. Shauna says I was a great teacher and coach, partially due to patience. Yeah, patience is a really important thing when we're coaching people, because ultimately we have to understand that we know more than they do when we're the coach, and they have to they have to learn it, they have to develop it, they have to integrate that into their lives, and it does indeed take it does definitely take some patience. And thank you so much for the well wishes for Pepper. And she is she is sleeping, and I am letting her sleep right now. I figure that's probably the best thing possible for her. All right. I don't know. No, Susan, Pepper got something different. She had like a sinus cold or something, or like a sinus infection. We went and we got her some pregnancy safe antibiotics, and they did not treat her well. I swear the antibiotics have treated her worse than the sinus infection ever did. But we suspect that maybe she's allergic to like penicillins or something, because there's not too many antibiotics that are safe when you're pregnant. And so the doctor gave her some pregnancy safe ones, and yeah, they are pregnancy safe, but they've also been causing her some really extreme anxiety and mood swings and infections in other places. And gosh, it has not been fun for her. So we're working on getting her well now. But yeah, tis the season, I guess. But I think definitely those antibiotics are those antibiotics definitely messed her up worse than the sickness ever did. I'm just grateful that we do have access to doctors and medical care, and that we do have access to pregnancy safe antibiotics. Anyways, even when it comes to helping Pepper heal, I am patient. I act when the time is right. And I told her, I was like, well, if you're not gonna, if you're not going to finish out that course of antibiotics because of how it's making you do, then we're going to, just let me know when or just keep me updated as to how you're feeling every day. and we will act appropriately no matter what is happening. All right, so I will talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll come out with some more of these. I'm excited to see how much other stuff that Pepper has come up with. Until then, just a quick reminder: I love you. I care about you. I think that you're awesome. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 9. Until then, aloha from paradise.